Hi everyone! It's been a while since I did my last live stream. And for a good reason, which I'm going to talk about today. Basically, what happened was in the month of October, I was kind of getting into dumps. And I think there's just something in the air that kind of got into me, and I was getting a bit down and depressed. But I thought, and I didn't plan on doing it, I'm going to do the National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo, this year, which happens every November. I did it last in 2018, so I didn't do it last year. The first time I've done it was in 2011. So I've been doing it for almost, yeah, wow, that's almost 9 years ago, 10 years. But I've only done it, well, not only, it's a big feat. I've done it 5 times now. The last one, which is this November, and I just finished it, and I'm so delighted. I was just like so brain dead in the last couple of days, and I celebrated. It was the hardest NaNoWriMo I've ever done for so many reasons. As I said, I wasn't really planning to do it, but there's something about writing magical realism and fiction that is quite therapeutic. And in fact, it's beyond therapeutic. Writing magical realism, writing a novel, 50,000 words in 30 days is something else. And like doing a marathon, you do have to prepare for it. Like I have to mentally prepare for it, supposedly, and I have to get my mind in the zone, in the space, by reading, doing some research, and reflecting, contemplating, just planning in my head what I'm going to write about. But this time around, I didn't do that. So I just went in and dove into it this November. Imagine going into a marathon and not really having prepared your body for it. It wasn't easy, but I turned up as much as I can every single day, except for a few days where I had to do some chores. And one of that was, if you notice, I have my couch back from Ohio, and I'm so happy and so delighted. So I'm getting off topic, but that's another talk. Getting my furniture back, our furniture back from Ohio. We finally got it back in, got shipped, and it took months because of COVID. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So writing 50,000 words in 30 days. As I said, that's like doing a marathon, and you do have to prepare for it, and I didn't prepare for it this time around. So it was hard. One, because I'm writing a sequel. I've been writing a series since I first did NaNoWriMo. So that meant that I had to review what I've written in the past. And a lot of it is, I remember vividly, but because the first one I've written in 2011, even some of the characters, I've forgotten some of their names, not the main characters, but the side characters. And two, it is historical magical realism. That means historical fiction and magical realism. So while it's fiction, while it's magical realism, the word realism means there has to be some sense of reality around it. So I did and had to do research, given that my time frame is around about 10th, 11th century Spain, plus the Silk Road added to that from my last series. So what I did this time around was I was writing and then researching and then reviewing and then writing at the same time. Now it's hard to explain what is it like and how do you get into the zone. All I can share is what's the sensation like for being in the zone, and why, for those of you who are artists, who are writers, why I feel that it is important to get yourself that space, that latitude to do something, even if nobody's going to read it, even if nobody's going to watch it, even if Nobody's gonna pay for it, because just the act of it is good for your soul. And when I am in the zone, it's basically showing up, literally sitting, and almost putting myself in a trance. It's like pardon my likes, I shouldn't talk like that. I start typing and I see the images of my characters coming. Sometimes they come one at a time. Sometimes, they all come at the same time and they all talk at the same time. And I'm just channeling and capturing what they're saying. Literally like this. I'm writing. Like I'm imagining and capturing at the same time what is going on. Sometimes it's presented in an illogical fashion, and I stop and I go, hang on, how does that connect with this? And how does that connect with that? And how does this whole thing connect with the previous 4 novels or prequels I have already written? But that's when the left brain hijacks the right brain. Sometimes it's good to just sit with it and go with the flow of creativity, and the juices kept flowing. Because once you step and analyze things, it's almost like, yeah, that's destroying the magic of it. At the same time, there has to be a structure to what I've written. And so I just get into the process of capturing, writing, and then stepping back, reading everything, and reorganizing and restructuring. So I just wanted to share that. It's very blissful. It's mystical. I get to experience characters where I don't know where they came from. Some of them came all the way from Persia and Al-Andalus, which is now called Andalusia in southern Spain, Algeria and Algiers. Sometimes I think of the landscape, imagine what it's like. It comes to me. And again, I do my research afterwards to make sure there's some sense of reality. And in Google Maps, I find out, oh, those places actually exist in reality. Whatever came into my imagination, it's actually real. That's the bit that's mystical and hard to explain. And I do feel happier now compared to where I was in October. It's a sense of release. It's a sense of being connected to something I can't explain, something divine. And I've experienced that ever since I first started NaNoWriMo in 2011. And in fact, right after I closed my laptop, on November 29, after writing 50,000 words and I completed it, I get an information randomly. I don't even remember how the information got to me. That's giving me a choice, which is similar to the choice that my characters had to go through in my novel. So it's like art imitating life. Anyway, so I hope you have some insights around this. And as I said, really the lesson and message I get from doing NaNoWriMo is that just do it. If you want to write, just go for it. You don't have to be perfect. And nobody has to read what you wrote if you don't want to share it. And you don't even have to publish it. Like, people ask me if I'm going to publish it. I don't know. Who knows? But for me, I write NaNoWriMo for the reason that I purely just love writing and writing historical fiction and magical realism. It is like traveling all over the world. It brings me to different places, this time not just externally, but in the internal landscapes of the mind. And quite fascinating that my novel has spurred me to go to places I've never been, to learn about things I never would have thought about learning. In fact, esoteric stuff. I was never into that stuff before. Um, History, I hated history when I was in school. However, writing the novel actually got me interested in history, especially in 10th, 11th century Spain, and also got me interested in knowing more about the Islamic culture because a lot of my characters are from the Islamic religion. Um, so yes, it's very, very fascinating how writing can bring us to different worlds that we never imagined. It's like traveling and getting to know characters along the way that introduces us to different ways of thinking. I know it's kind of weird because that's in my own mind. And as I said, there's certain things I can't explain. It's mystical. It's as though I'm channeling something. Hopefully someday I get to share it out in the world. And as a human being, I have my own limitations. I lend my own views and interpretations of what I'm channeling. So it's very, very intimate and very personal. So yes, there's a level of fear about sharing my work to the world because it's very personal. And as I said, as a human being, I have my own limitations. I'm afraid of being criticized. And a lot of what I write there are not politically correct and maybe not even historically accurate. So I can't be bothered about that at the moment. Maybe someday I'll share it. So thank you for listening. And hopefully this has inspired some of you to do it next time. It's a mental marathon. It's a discipline. You show up every single day as much as you can. Just keep writing. But there is a divine, inexplicable life force out there that will give you inspiration and will give you the material that you need. Just like in every aspect of our lives, not just writing. There's something out there that gives you something. It's magical, it's mystical, it's inexplicable, but I'm just grateful for it. So, talk to you again next time. Cheers. Oops. And